Surely you understand. It'll never be enough. You have to ask yourself, when you finally get the ultimate promotion, when you've made the ultimate purchase and climbed the ladder of success to the highest rung you can possibly climb it, and the thrill wears off, and it will wear off, then what? How far do you have to walk down that road before you see where it leads? So you have to ask yourself the question, what matters?
That's what I always wanted. Could never have too many things. Well, quit kicking me under the table. I'm trying, will somebody make a shut up about it? Can we settle down, please? 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 Can we settle down,
Alright. Fix the stairs? You mean fix the
There
stairs?
it
So I
goes.
can... Okay, yeah, there we go. Yeah. Xbox is dumb sometimes when I invite people.
Yeah, that happens to me quite often too. It just gets annoying after a while.
Yeah, no. So I love how I go for like a second to go grab another water just so I could have two. I come back and the first thing I see is this motherfucker sounds big. You know what? You always sound big.
Yeah,
It's
that's how it.
24/7. Great. Alright. Alright, let's get the boring shit out of the way real quick. Basically the boring shit is just very simple. Topics we are talking about tonight are quite sensitive to certain people, and if you feel offended or offended and or
Triggered.
comfortable, yeah, that's one way to put it. Oh, this, yeah. No, I'm not fixing that, Soggy. Sorry about it. If you feel offended and or uncomfortable at any given time, either please leave, because that is always a easy solution, and or make it known in chat, and we will try to stray away from using certain, I don't know, contexts. Anywho, we're talking about the Twin Towers and or the World Trade Center collapsing on September 11th. How it just doesn't make really much sense.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
I mean,
other than that,
I mean, other than that, yeah, it's basically what it is. I mean, I'll get into the reasons behind why I think a certain theory
obviously.
is correct. Bush.
Yeah, pretty.
George W. Bush.
Yeah, George W. Bush.
Oh, it's great.
Inside jobs.
Amazing. Inside jobs. Okay. So to start things off, let's get some bases down, which is more or less the more boring stuff. Was it their waste water movie that also got hit? The Pentagon. The Pentagon
Yeah,
did get hit.
I say the Pentagon got hit, and then the field in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, there was a plane going towards the White House. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's
I
where it was
believe
going.
so. I
Um,
believe so. Pretty sure.
it was headed towards the White House, but the people inside the plane were able to re-hijack the hijacked plane and crash it.
Actually, no, it wasn't the White House. It was the Capitol building.
Capitol building, yes. Because uh-oh. We probably should have made this invite only.
Probably.
It's fine. It's muted them for the time being. No, it was in New York City. No, it was in Pennsylvania. I was positive it was in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it was.
September.
Yeah, options. Configure accessibility settings. I think that's what's it in. I don't think so though. No, that's not it. I'm just trying to make this freaking private.
I can. Yeah.
Yeah.
September. September 7th. September 11th plane crash deal. Oh, it was in New York. He's right. It was in New York. Hold on.
First one I was in a field in Pennsylvania though. Whatever. I mean, if we're wrong.
I mean, they're
wrong,
both. I mean, they're fairly close.
Yeah.
I think it was Flight 93 that crashed. Fourth California plane hijacked for 40 minutes from NLIA in Jersey.
Yeah, pretty much. No, I'm just trying
No,
to
it was no.
chat.
It's Pennsylvania. The passengers fought the four hijackers and are suspected to have attacked the cockpit with a fire extinguisher. The plane then flipped over and sped towards the ground and at upwards of 500 miles per hour, crashing in a rural field near Shanksfield in Western Pennsylvania.
I thought so. I'd say. He's just trying to gaslight us, I swear.
No, sorry, he just has a terrible way with words, so he, like, when I first said, oh, it was in New York, he said, boom, and then he said, fuck, that's bad wording. I swear to God.
No, not
It's just great.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's pretty funny.
Alright, so the north
Okay,
and southern towers are not only were basically side by side, but they were basically the exact same tower. The only difference is that the southern tower was slightly smaller in height than the northern tower. But they both used what is known as A36 structural steel, which, as you can see, is quite fucking dense. So it's very heavy, it's very strong, it can handle a lot of pressure. And I am going to be using Celsius here just so that it's easier for the numbers on my smooth brain. That, and we do have a UK member in chat, that being Soggy. Soggy is UK and it's great.
Yeah.
So
Hey, that freaking transcontinental, man. That goes, man.
you know, it's gonna be kind of funny hearing Soggy's opinion about all this, just due to the fact that he's from the UK and not.
Valid. That's very valid, actually.
Okay, so basically, let me get the boring number stuff out of the way. I do have everything here on the script, so I'm just gonna be straight up reading the numbers off there instead of going to each individual source and trying to find it again.
Yeah, works a lot better that way.
Honestly, yeah, it really is. That's why I did it. So the melting point or the range of it is 1425 to 1538 degrees Celsius. Now, of course, I'm not gonna say 1000. justified because I'm dumb and I am way too lazy to read out
I say
thousands.
just wait. That's just way too lazy. We're
Yeah,
lazy.
yeah. So in ATF fuel or jet fuel, which everyone knows of, is obviously used to make turbine engines do the burr and go fast. Um, and that in perfect conditions, because we are talking about a combustion fuel, can burn up to 2,230 degrees Celsius. Now, that's of course with perfect pressure, perfect amounts of oxygen, so on and so forth. Now, of course, in New York City, that's not gonna happen. You're not gonna have perfect air or perfect pressure. That's not gonna, especially not New York.
That's
How would
right,
I?
mainly because of the altitude.
Well, yeah,
How
that
would we
too.
know? I
The
lived there.
altitude, because the altitude, due to the fact that the buildings were one of the tallest in the world at the time, um, the oxygen levels up that high. Oxygen, what's it called? What's that word?
The atmosphere.
No, not the atmosphere. Thins out. Thins out. Oxygen levels
Yeah.
thin out up in higher altitudes. Um, so which there we are. Okay. So obviously we're not going to be using 2,230 degrees as our baseline for jet fuel burning,
Obviously.
and I can't take the lowest it can burn, which is around 1,030 degrees. So I'm gonna be nice here. I'm gonna say that it was windy that day. So it got a little bit more oxygen than it needed. We're gonna call it an even 1,500 degrees, which does allow it to not only melt the steel beams, but put it over the put it over the minimum range. Um, so we're gonna be using the south tower. I'm just gonna be completely honest with you. The south tower is the only one I care about. The north tower, like, it fell under 2 hours in about, I think it was an hour and 40 something
I say it was
minutes.
almost 2 hours.
Hour and 28 minutes compared to the
Two
56 minutes of
of the South
of the
Tower.
south tower.
Yeah.
And what about the black box? I do not have the black box. I mean, I could easily get it. It's really not that hard to get, but I can't play that because
Yeah.
you can't play that. Um, that is not only extremely upsetting to listen to, but it's also borderline not TOS, and I would like to keep my my account here. So there.
Pretty much, yeah.
Also,
I'd
let
like
me
to keep my.
change.
Thank you. Sam, but I mean,
There we go. All right, perfect. I did switch up. Okay. Um, so the North Tower was struck first, and the South Tower was struck second. And they were struck in about, not obviously they're not going to be struck in the exact same area, but they were struck in so similar areas that you would honestly believe they would fall at the exact same time. Well, here we go. So, as you know, everyone knows that weight, pressure, and heat all have similar effects on metal and materials like it. So it's very, very obvious. Play what? I'm talking about the blog box that shows how the plane went wrong. That can handle very high. That can handle very high heat. That's just somehow disappeared. Oh, you're talking about the which black box was that? I think it was the Northern Tower's black box where it just completely either disintegrated or it just disappeared. No one knows where it went. They found both the one in the Pentagon, the one down in Pennsylvania, and they found the one
Pennsylvania.
in the southern tower.
Southern
But
Tower. The one in the Northern Tower secretly somehow vanquished.
yeah. Now, of course, if you do want to use the excuse it was buried under the rubble, that is perfectly acceptable because one, actually no, that's not acceptable because the Northern Tower fell second. So you should be able to find the northern tower one way before you find the southern tower
the
one. And
second
if you were to lose any of them, you would probably lose the
It
southern
should have
tower
been the
because it would be
second one.
buried. Yeah. I thought you were talking about playing the black box record or the black box recordings of the crash. I was like, no, not a good idea. Anywho, so I'm not gonna show the video on stream, but you can probably look it up yourself, and I will edit it into the after edit it in and post process. The video of the South Tower collapsing. And me and Noah were talking about this way before we even decided, or not even way before, but like right when we decided to make this our topic. The It's not the top part that collapses. The bottom collapses first, then the top comes down on top of it and pushes it all down, which doesn't make any fucking sense. It doesn't. It doesn't. You look at it. You know what? Here we go. We're getting Microsoft Paint out.
So you'll get that Microsoft Paint out. It's gonna be needed.
No, I'm not. I'm not actually gonna get. I'm not actually gonna get Microsoft Paint. I'm just gonna use Metabang.
Yeah.
So
Then we get a visualization out.
Yeah. So, bam. Actually, I could probably just use straight edge. Where's the straight edge? Straight edge. Tower. Plane hits here. Got all the fire up top. That is such terrible fire share. That's fire. Alright. So we got a bunch of explosion, bunch of damage right here. This entire area right here is intact. The only thing that's different is there's a lot more weight exerted downward on it, which it can handle, because once again, it was early in the morning, so not everyone was at work. So the excess weight of everyone working would, that could, you can easily say that the weight made it collapse. Still doesn't make any sense because it was very early in the morning when it was hit. No, it wasn't completely full yet. So you would think that this would be the first, or that this would be the first to go. It doesn't. It falls after, if you, to be exact on the video, I'll try and point it out for you. Exactly right about here on the western, I believe the direction is on the western side of the tower, starts just kind of caves in a little, and then it all tumbles down that way. But the plane struck from the opposite angle. So there's that for you. Why am I saving this? Get out of here. So it just doesn't make any sense. Now, I don't have the exact source. I will find it later. Because I did have it. I have it in the script, and I don't have the source there. I completely forgot to source it, so I'll have to refind.
That's our worst case scenario. We'll get to it eventually.
Yeah. Well, I have the source. It's in my search history somewhere. Just gotta find it. So the firefighters that were in the north, was it the northern tower? Or did I say southern? I'm pretty sure I said southern. Let me search this real quick. Okay. Yeah, that were in the southern tower, that were heading up the stairs to try and get people, reported that the tower, below the airliner looked like if it was about to collapse in order evacuation of the area due to the fact that it would cause more damage and it would harm even more people. So that would make sense coming from someone who works with cave-ins and stuff like that, firemen. But once again, it doesn't make sense that the bottom would be about to collapse. It just doesn't. So, if we really want to get into the heat of it, let's start with the jet fuel, the weight, and the pressure. The jet fuel, we'll say, since it was a windy day, I don't know. I really don't know the exact conditions of that day, and I don't feel like trying to see if it's recorded.
Dig in and find it.
You could, yeah. I mean, it is recorded, obviously, but it's gonna be kind of hard to find. So if you really want to do that while I start going over this, but so we'll say it burns at 1500. right? That's enough to melt the steel beams. But once again, that points more towards the top collapsing on the bottom. The bottom collapsed before the top. You know what? Let me see if I can't find a video of the southern tower falling.
I'd be surprised if you can't.
Well, I mean, I know I can. But I want to find one that isn't, that shows it from, like, the bottom up. I'm not gonna play the sound, obviously. That's very distressing.
I say distressing towards most.
Yep, there we go. There we go. Okay. So, now, obviously, this was reported in 2001. And it is very hard. It is very hard for... Ew, ATF. It's very hard, very grainy old footage. So I'll try to point out where it collapses for you and where the okay. So you can see it collapsing here. And where all this smoke buildup is a probably just a tad bit higher is where the plane struck. I will also pull up Southern Tower struck. It's very... I hear there's so many different like, who is watching the angles? I just saw a video that said 50 plus angles. Who's watching that?
Freaking watches goes through YouTube.
Twitch, yes, Twitch. This is entirely fake video. Alright, you know what, we'll just do pictures of it because I don't feel like trying to find a good. So as you can see, it hits, we'll say, for reference, this is really conflicting angles. So it hits probably about here. And if you notice, see how it collapses right there? If the plane struck... The plane struck here. Now this is already collapsing, so I'm probably overshooting by a mile. Plane struck higher up top here, just below where all the smoke is. And it starts to okay. I can't draw a line for it, but I will try to with my mouse. Basically, right here, plane hits. And then back just a touch. Right here is where it collapses. Plane up here, collapses right here. As you can see, as like all the rubble and debris starts to collapse, then the top falls and it pushes everything down. So, obviously, like, it makes sense for the building to fall from the top down, and this proves even more that it should fall from the top down due to the fact that the most damaged structure would be the top. Think of a tree. Think of a tree. We'll take a tree here. If the top of a tree is dead, what's going to happen to the top? It's going to break, fall, it's gonna deteriorate. The bottom is going to be very strong because it's still alive and well, but if the top is dead, it's going to break, it's going to fall, it's going to do everything I just said. Soggy, you're getting ahead of us. Getting ahead of us. Getting ahead of us, okay?
Maybe we should invite Soggy.
No. He said, Soggy said it's because of the government probably put explosives on the lower level so it would forward inwards, so it would be a contained mess and easier to take care of. We're getting there. We're getting there. Hold on.
See, he knows.
He knows.
Soggy, do you work for the government?
No, he's like 14.
That's what he wants you to know.
Yeah. I'll edit that out, by the way, Soggy. I'm not gonna put that in there. I'm not gonna expose you like that. Even though I just did. So I took one high school chemistry class. So don't quote me word for word on this, but I did make sure that my information is correct. Heat and pressure are very similar when it comes to contained gases. And of course, in a building with a lot of smoke, there's a lot of gas. There's not much room for it to move around. If heat goes up, pressure goes up. If heat goes down, pressure goes down. They are very. It's like. I mean, it makes sense. Like, because here's the deal. Let's open up Metabang again. Up, up. No. Sure.
Okay.
So we have little jar right here. Okay, that's awful. This. Um. You got a bunch of gas moving, bouncing all around here. It's going like that. Now, we know anything about thermodynamics. We put a flame underneath here. What's going to make it's going to give these particles more energy, therefore increasing the pressure inside of this container. Why? Because we're getting more bounces off of the walls. And pressure is defined on how fast, or no, pressure isn't how fast. How fast something moves in a contained object, I think is what the official definition is.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, official definition of pressure. Pressure is defined as a physical force exerted on an object. So basically, what I said, just in smarter words. So okay, so he said he doesn't care. Cool. But yes, very much so. Everything that I've mentioned so far, the steel beams melting, the pressure exerted on the beams from the smoke, from the crowdation of the people, the crash itself, still points to the top collapsing before the bottom. Whatever, right? We'll say just for now that the top fell first, because it very well could have, but from my knowledge and my research, the bottom looks like it fell right before the top. So why would that be? Well, the official, or not the official, but the theory that I have in mind that could work is the weight. The weight from the plane and the damage done to it could very well have caused the tower to fall right below that point, with it still being able to support the top. With the concrete melt, yeah, definitely. Concrete has very susceptible
low.
to,
Yeah.
susceptible to everything. The crash destroyed the concrete. I don't think they use concrete. I mean, they probably used a bit of it, but probably not too much up that high. No, it'd be too heavy. That's why they use steel.
Because that way, because steel's a little bit lighter, but like 10 times stronger
Mhm.
than
Do
most stuff.
me a favor, though, real quick.
Yeah, what's up?
Headphones, because I forgot to charge them before stream because I'm an absolute buffoon. So all I need you to do, really, for the moment, is if you go down to the one, two, three, fourth paragraph. It's the paragraph that's talking about C2, C4.
Yeah.
Go ahead and start discussing the difference between C2 and C4. If you know the difference,
Yeah.
if not, I'll be.
Yeah. All right. Is it working?
Yep.
Yes or no?
Okay.
All right, good. All right, but yeah, I'll take it over for the C2, C4 part. But so for the most part, C2 is used for constructional purposes. That way, it has just as much explosive power as well, not, but okay, has just as much explosive power as C4, but it's a more condensed, more focused blast. That way, it doesn't do as much damage over a widespread area. C4 is used and well, C2 is used for like construction and stuff like that, whereas C4 is used against heavier vehicles such as the Marauder. Ooh,
Um,
hold up.
yeah,
Alright, hold on, take over real quick.
it's fine. So basically, what he's trying to put, I'll put it in even dumber words because I am stupid and I like putting stuff in very easy, digestible things. C2, probably about the same power. It's probably a decent bit less, but it's very more dense and very more condensed and
Contained.
yeah, contained. Like if I could show you a C2 explosion, I should be able to. C2 explosion. Go ahead and see if I can't find it.
Yeah, I say C2 is more used for say
Constructions
construction,
or
well,
if
deconstruction, I guess technically, but
if,
it's
um
construction purposes, stuff like that. Whereas C4 is used against heavier armed vehicles such as military grade vehicles, Humvees, Marauders, stuff like that.
or stuff like steel, stuff like
Yeah,
where you
I mean
really
C2
don't
even.
care. And since you are bringing up like the whole military aspect of it, this could put it into some maybe a bit easier digestible content. C4 obviously is used to not only disorient the people you were trying to break into, and you are most likely going to be using it on like a concrete or steel wall. It's got a big explosion, and it's used by the military. C2 on the other hand is not as often used anymore, because it's very old, very old. Let me pull it up. I'm not gonna pull up I'm not gonna pull up my straight source for C2 explosives. I'm going to literally just use Wikipedia. Just because all I'm trying to get is if I correct me if I'm wrong, but it was first used in World War One or Two. Nope, it was in World War Two. Second World War, it developed the C1 the C explosive. Then it went to C2, then C3, and now we have C4. Um, so it's quite an old explosive. That's why it's not used as much anymore. Anywho, C4 military, big boom, big distraction. C2 SWAT teams inside of a house. Not even joking. You can use small amounts of C2 inside of a house to just break open a door.
Yep.
So
It's basically sticky charges now. That's what C2, the modern C2 is.
if you want a picture of what C2 looks like, it looks the exact same as C4. It is literally nothing but a black. Yeah, here's all of them. Here's all of them lined up. There we got C, C2, C3, C4, C6, C8. C6 and C8. That is your heavy demolition. Here's a stick of C4. Really want a. I think that's also C4. That's also. I can't show you a brick of C2. I know. Wikipedia had C2.
Yeah.
Some.
I mean, yeah, that's basically what C2 is right there.
Yeah, C2 is literally just the exact same as C4. Look wise, it's just plastic explosive, black or stuff that looks like this, or just like it's just a powder. It's really all it is. So, the reason we are talking about explosives, of course, is because everyone knows where this is going. Yes, I do think that explosives or I don't know if it was new development. I think might have been here too. That thermite could also be used.
That was me.
It was you. Okay.
Let's say thermite and tannerite.
I don't see tannerite being used because you would have to shoot it. That's just how
Most of the time, yeah.
Yeah. Tannerite, you would have to shoot that, and it's also a civilian grade explosive. It's not gonna damage steel beams all that much. But thermite definitely could, because thermite burns.
Dumb hot.
Let's see how much thermite. burns at 4,000 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 2 times the melting point.
Point of
Noah got the munchies.
ATF.
Noah eats 24/7. I mean, it's big.
I am a very big dude. I am bigger than Peyton. If
Yes.
you've ever seen Peyton.
No, no one has ever seen me. The only thing
From
they have
chat,
seen
anyways.
on stream is hand cams. That's very rare. I stopped doing that a long time ago because I got lazy. But like I was saying, it's 2 times the melting point of 836. So Noah here could be entirely right, but I honestly do believe that C2 was used because honestly think about it. C4, if you've ever seen an explosion of C4, it is absolutely massive.
Devastating.
Let's see if I can't show it on. Let's see if I can't find a video on it. Yep, here we are. Mythbusters, sure.
I say
That's a
get the
trusted-
Mythbusters ones. That one they can't technically ban you from because it's an educational video.
Alright, there. We got a small amount of C4 there. You see what I mean? That is a massive explosion. Big fireball, big smoke. Great penetration power. Broke straight through what I'm guessing is like AR-500 steel. AR-500 is bulletproof armor.
Hey, yeah. For the most part.
AR-500. It's really weird. I'll pull it up just really quickly. Oh, what the? I'm trying to tell you exactly what it is. We'll use their I guess their P2. Their P2 is probably baseline. Polyethylene. Yeah. Yeah, it can stop 76239. It could stop basically anything going up to, I believe, a little under 4 it's a bit under 4,000 FPS.
What AR 100 steel?
Yeah, AR 500. The worst armor. Anywho, that'll be a topic for a
I
later
believe
day.
that's like PKM 4 rounds size. So 7.62 by 932s or something like that. Don't quote me on that.
932. No, I think PKM shoots 7.6254R.
It might, yeah, it might be 4R. I can't remember if it's 932 or 5.5.
Yep, it's 5.4R. Same round as the Mosin gun. So, of course, C2 just makes more sense. More condensed, a little bit less powerful, but enough to just damage it enough for
And
the
you can
weight
buy
to
it.
start
You
pushing.
can actually buy it for
Really cheap.
and for personal use.
Well,
C4 you can't.
obviously, we're talking with where I'm going with this. Everyone knows where this is going. The government does not need permission to buy explosives. They make it.
Obviously.
Okay. So to answer your question that everyone always brings up, why? What is the point? Well, very simple. No one liked Bush. It was about his approval rating was about 50%. I'll pull it up just now for you.
Oh, I don't even think it was 50.
No, it was 50 just before 9. It was 57, 51. And then as you can see, it doesn't give us the months, sadly. But it's right before the end of 2001, so probably not exactly when 9/11 happened. It was probably after his statement about fighting terrorists
Yeah.
and Al Qaeda. Wait, was it Al Qaeda at the time? No.
No, it was ICE.
No, it wasn't ISIS. Bin Laden.
Actually,
Terror.
Bin Laden, I think was Al Qaeda.
Yeah, I think it was Al Qaeda. I think it was Al Qaeda. Al
Might
Qaeda,
have
Al Qaeda. Al Qaeda, Al Qaeda. Whatever. I say Al Qaeda because that's what sounds more correct in my head.
Yeah.
So as we see here, he wasn't very liked. His first term, his high point was September 21st to the 22nd of a 90% approval rating. In September 21st and 22nd of 2001. Now, why does this matter? Because it's only 10 11 days after the towers fell, and it skyrocketed. It actually skyrocketed. He went from 51 to a 90% overall approval rate.
Exemption rate.
Yeah.
So, government might have done it just to get his approval rating up so he could be reelected.
Well, and here's another thing. Um, let's take a look. This is approval ratings, economy. If we look at the Bush.
Yeah, we're right. We're gonna go get a drink or something.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. Go right on ahead.
Maybe an alcohol, but we don't talk about that.
Alright, let's go right here. Cumulative GDP of. Now, we have some of the most notable presidents of all time. We have Carter, Clinton, Reagan, Obama, Bush, and then H. Bush, and then Trump. So, this is the GDP. We should be looking at green. As you can see, a quarter of his presidency going up, it's going up, it's going up, it's going up, it's going up, going down, it's going down, it's going down. Now, if I could find something that could give you the years instead of just by quarters, because I don't know how. That's not. Is GDP measured in quarters? Okay. Over here, or quarter. Okay, so, but it doesn't tell me. No, I don't like using. Here we are. Okay. In 2001, we are looking at the income tax revenue, or what everyone knows as your taxes, the IRS, all that jazz, right? So let's take a look. See here. In 2000, just before his election, or yeah, probably right either before or right during his inauguration, sometime during them. You can see that we almost have $1 billion in 2001. It stays. In 2002, it drops. 2003 and 2004, it dropped. Well, in 2004, it kind of rises. It's just too little. Now, you would expect. So let's take a look at this. Even though we already are. So we see it go down, goes down, falls below. Let's say like 9 point. Yeah, something like that. We're talking. I'm currently talking about tax revenue. 2000 and 2001, it was sitting at 1,000, and that's measured in billions of dollars. And then in 2002,
so, what, 10 trillion?
Yeah, probably, right? 1,000 times. Equals 1 to the 12. What is a trillion?
So 12 zeros.
Yep. 1 to the 12th is a trillion. Yeah, so $1 trillion. So 2001, 2000, it's sitting at $1 trillion. Then in 2003 and 2002, it drops. 2004, it rises a little, but it's still very low. It drops to around 850, and then in 2002 it drops down to 800, goes back up to around 850, then back up to 900, then back up to 1,000. And here's where things start to take off. The war on terror. Because everyone knows that this is just a borderline fact. The US thrives off conflicts. That is what we thrive off.
I mean, hell, World War I, World War II, that's what made us the most powerful nations in the world.
You want to know how we got out of the Great Depression? World War II.
Yep.
And would you like to know what we did during World War II? We profited off of it. How, you may ask? Nothing.
Because
we didn't get involved, but we sold product.
No, we got involved in World War II.
Yes, but
after
we still,
December, obviously. But
after Pearl.
But no, it was the fact that none of our main air con- country got harmed in the war at all. So we were the only ones that had manufacturing up. So even what? Because I can. Get over it. You can cook more. I'm fat.
There
But no.
you
So
go.
after the war, we were selling all the products. So that was boosting our income where they were rebuilding.
And of course, World War One and the thrive of the 1920s, the fact that we had the Lend-Lease Act, and the Lend-Lease was World War One, right? Lend-Lease Act. Oh no, Lend-Lease was okay. I was right. Lend-Lease was World War Two. So basically, I'm not gonna get too heavy into this. Lend-Lease was basically we lend tanks, destroyers, boats,
I
planes,
said
stuff like
tanks,
that.
carriers, all that.
All that jazz. War fixes everything. Joke, well, kinda. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. For the U.S., it
It fixes
fixes
everything,
everything.
but it also destroys everything.
Yeah, it fixes everything because it gives the U.S. money. Anywho, um, Lenny's Act is an act,
Be it.
and so basically we weren't involved in the war just
Dang
yet
it.
because
Not you.
we joined World War II 1940.
Or not you, Jacob.
No, 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 no. We got really early on. World War II U.S. entry date. Okay,
Don't take over my
oh,
ass, bro.
I was so close. It was just before 1942. December 7th, 1941 is when um so basically Lend-Lease Act, put it very simple, you lend them stuff, and then after and they can make payments on it very slowly, like a lease, and then after the war they have to pay it back either in full or have to pay us in increments, like a lease.
Oh.
And
Oh, that's weird. I can hear you again. I know why actually.
Alright, sorry about that. So basically what I'm trying to say is the US profits heavily on war. And let's take a look and see when the War on Terror begun. War on Terror begun? Guess when? Okay. Technically, it starts on September 11th. But as you can see, nothing really kicks off. So if we really look at the War on Terror, first conflict. No, that isn't. Okay, here we go, fine. The Iraq War. The one that everyone cares about. Basically, it wasn't the War on Terror, but the Iraq War was a part of the technical War on Terror. Anywho, spanned from 2003 to 2011. Let's start at 2003. Oh boy, it's at an all-time low. We go to war in Iraq. Goes up. 2004, up by 50 billion. Another 50-ish billion. Skyrockets in 2006 and 7 and 8, and then starts to die back down in 2009, where everyone starts to realize that maybe going to war with Iraq is a waste of time. Okay, so now that we've gotten that out of the way,
Ugh, God. But yeah. Conspiracy theories.
yeah. Oh, there's Jacob.
Yeah,
Um, So I'm gonna just finish us a little bit off. Just to reiterate this point, it does not make sense to collapse before the North Tower, due to the fact that the North Tower stood for an hour and 20 minutes compared to 56 minutes of the Southern Tower standing. The Southern Tower was hit way after. It was struck about 20-ish minutes later. So probably around
at 9:30.
No, 9:03. I think it was exactly 9:03. South Tower struck time 9:03. 9 hours, 3 minutes. So as I stated in the beginning, or as I should have stated in the beginning, obviously, none of this is proven whatsoever, and it's not factual. All I do
Not to mention, the way the towers fell, um, the weather, the wind was it was a northward breeze.
is that true? I think I never looked at that. Let's look this up. What what direction was the wind blowing on September?
Send me another invite now.
What was that, Jake?
Send me another invite. I don't know why.
How the fuck did you remember
In
that,
Apex.
Noah? You were right, it is northwest. How did you remember that?
Don't ask.
That is impressive. That is impressive.
I wasn't even born.
Okay, now to be fair, since it is such a massive building, it's not insanely like it's not gonna affect it too much, but it does affect it in a way. So as I should have stated at the beginning, and I shall repeat myself, one, this is not factual by any means. None of this is proven at all, besides the times obviously that I'm given, and and such as the times that were given, the dates, all that jazz. All this is just purely speculation. But the facts that I have given, such as the melting point of steel, the jet fuel burning, C2 as an explosive, C4 being explosive. Would Michael Jackson's career help the government in any way? No, probably damaged it more than anything. Anywho, sorry, I'm just reading off chat.
Yeah, you're good.
Like as I stated before, I do, even though it is purely speculation, I do like having facts to support my speculation. And if that did offend you and or cause uncomfortableness in some way, I do apologize. But as I stated earlier, either you should have left or you should have said so. So I will be up on YouTube channel probably definitely by the end of tomorrow because it has to be.
Yeah.
And I will have a link to my script with these are not all the sources. I still have and you could go over and look at this to see my thinking. Obviously I didn't follow it word for word, as you could tell, because the other option to this theory would be just the bottom collapsing. Now the evidence we have support this is put some. I'll see. I'm not reading that off word for word, but if you want to, please go right on ahead. I'm not going to stop you. But I got really nothing else left to say. No, you got anything else?
Not really, honestly. Just I feel like it was definitely an inside job.
All right.
Because there's no shot this tower that got hit second fell down first.
Yeah, that's yeah, Saki, it's been about an hour. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna end this stream now so that I can start exporting the file, start editing it.